Hello and welcome to Darren's Travels. On this channel, I talk about traveling the world by yourself if you're a guy, and if this is your first trip overseas, this channel will help you. Today I want to talk about what it's like to travel as a minority, if you're black, if you're Hispanic, if you're any minority traveling the world, and if you have any questions on what it's going to be like and how you're going to be received overseas. And I'm talking kind of from the perspective of hanging out in Eastern Europe, Central Europe, the Balkans, Southern Balkans, the Baltics, all that stuff, all in Europe basically for the most part. And my family and everybody else, all my friends, they always ask me, well, you know, what's it like traveling those places as a black man? And I tell them it's perfectly safe. And I'll tell you again, if you're black and you're watching this, or any other minority, if you have any worries about traveling the world, don't, because I've never had one bad problem traveling the world in 20 years of traveling. And I think, and again, I'm no expert in this, and I'm no expert in race relations, or anything like that, but I think the rest of the world doesn't have the history of segregation like America does, and so there's not that old history of the tension or whatever. When you go to Russia, you go to, I don't know, Croatia, things like that. You don't have that history with respect to whites and blacks or whatever, and so when you get over there, you don't have that tension. You don't have that tension like with the police or anything. You don't have the tension that we have here in America. I was in Moscow. Every corner in Moscow, there's a cop with a M16 or a machine gun on their shoulder. And in Serbia, in Belgrade, it's like you pass policemen quite a bit. And I never once felt threatened like I would here in the U.S. So when you get overseas, it's completely different. But with that said, even though you're not, there's no anxiety or there's no danger or anything like that, you do notice that the rest of the world is pretty the same. I guess it's homogeneous, I think it is. Everybody looks the same for the most part. I mean, because America is kind of like the melting pot where we have all different, everybody kind of looks different. But when you go overseas, you'll notice that most of the people look the same, at least in my limited experience anyway. And so you can walk in somewhere and like you're the only black person in the bars, that type of stuff. But like I said, there's no, you're not hurt or you're not helped by it for the most part. And kind of like it almost helps you, I guess. I mean, I've said many times in the videos before, one of the hacks in traveling, especially like for meeting girls and dating, things like that, is, you visit places in the world where you look different from the local guys, and you're going to stand out. You're going to have an easier time of meeting people just because the foreign girls, they're interested in, that you look different basically than the local guys. For the most part, again, I don't mean to over exaggerate that, but the girls who like you are really going to like you because you look different, and then the girls who don't like you, they're just not going to. And so that's and again, if you're white, you go to Asia, you go to Mexico, or South America, just go where you're different essentially, and it's going to be a little bit easier. And then also, when you're black, you go overseas to like Eastern Europe, you go to Central Europe, something like that. American pop culture travels, and so people know, like from the movies, they know music, they know all that stuff. So they're not completely, it's not completely foreign for them to know kind of like, what's going on in pop culture, things like that. So understand that the world is flat. Everything is kind of the same. You go to a grocery store in Kharkiv, Ukraine, is going to look the same as you go to a grocery store here in Scottsdale. So so the pop culture, the movies, entertainment, sports, all that translates. when you're overseas. And so you're going to have no problems if you're a minority traveling overseas. So hope that helps. Like I said, if you're thinking about taking your first trip overseas, go where you're different. I mean, if like I said, if you're a single guy, go where you look different than the local guys. And then your dating life anyway is going to be much easier. So anyways, hope that helps. Again, if you're looking to take your first trip, do it. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.